Welcome to Tweet of the Week. I am really excited this week because I have two wonderful guests from Brunswick High School who are going to talk about one of the most amazing experiences our students have had an opportunity to participate in this year. So I am joined today by Principal Mike Dillman and sophomore Jacob Winter. And Jacob I've met before because he was part of Student Voices, and so I got to talk to him a little bit when Brunswick was participating in that program. And that has inspired or led Jacob to participate in the Minority Essence Club at Brunswick. And Mr. Dillman, you can tell us a little more about the evolution of that. But that club had a wonderful opportunity this year. And so Mike, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about the opportunity, and then Jacob, I want you to let people know the amazing things you learned because of that and what you think we at FCPS can do based on what you learned.
Of course.
Mike?
Well, thanks for having us. It's been an interesting journey for the Railroaders. Over the past few years, we've engaged in a lot of conversation about our school community, our changing community, and how we can really work together to make things better for our students and our school and the community. So one of those conversations began in our Minority Essence group. And our Minority Essence is a group of students that have come together to really promote diversity, inclusion, awareness, conversation about issues that are in our school that they may feel or see in the community, but then also things that are happening nationally that will come back and maybe impact our students. And so we've had conversations about race and relationships. We've had conversations about some of the hurdles that we have in the school and how we navigate these challenging topics, and really how can we create an environment for our students that is inviting and warm and friendly. And so a few years ago, the club came together and thought, we really want to find ways for us to participate, have an opportunity to engage in a discussion. And so in September, I received an email from the National Archives Foundation, and the email was an invitation to participate in one of their evening forums where Soledad O'Brien would be the moderator, but then we would have national authors and speakers come and talk about race and reform in America. And the connection with the archives is that they would be using historical documents as firsthand sources of information and discuss how those impacted change in America, the conversations that we're having, conversations in the past. And so when we saw the opportunity, I reached out to the archives and expressed that we had some interest. We have a group of students that would love to come together and participate, and we just needed a way to be able to do that. So we worked with the archives to fund our opportunity, and I was so excited when they confirmed that our group of students would be able to participate. And so we came together in a Zoom meeting, and it was wonderful. We had authors Taylor Branch, Ibram Kendi, and Wesley Lowry engage in a conversation with Soledad O'Brien and really talk about where we are as a nation, integrate those documents, and move forward with how can we really start to serve our communities, be aware of our history, learn from mistakes, but move forward and advance and really be prepared to tackle the things that are coming ahead of us.
So Jacob, what did you learn?
Well, first of all, I have to thank Mr. Dillman for the incredible opportunity. It was very awesome to be able to participate in an event like that on a national scale for our small school. So that was great. And the number one thing I took away from it was the sort of lost history, the history that's not taught. You look at things like the Tulsa Race Massacre of Black Wall Street and similar events, of which there are many. That are really just not highlighted at all in curriculum. Most curriculum speaks of only slavery and then maybe the Voting Rights Act and whatnot and suffrage, but they don't go into detail about these events, and more so they don't go into detail about that there even was a Black Wall Street, a thriving Black Wall Street. They don't talk about that at all. So I think it was really great to learn about that, and I think more people need to be aware of that, and I think that it should definitely be incorporated into curriculum, because this old adage, if you don't know history, you're doomed to repeat it, right? So it's definitely important to get the full picture, and that's something that we don't have currently as students.
So as your Minority Essence Club, the students participated in this. Have you had follow-up conversations with the students who participated?
Yeah, we had a meeting directly after that, directly after the National Archives meeting, to discuss and reflect, and it was great. Yeah, it was good to debrief and talk about it all together, and we need to certainly come up with a plan to move forward and how we can incorporate what we've learned into our community and our school. You know, it's really not enough to just not be prejudiced. We need to actively disengage any prejudices that we may come upon, and that's, I think, the best thing that we can take out of it, besides, of course, changing curriculum.
I think one of the most powerful moments for me in participating in the entire event was after the session ended and we came back as a small group, and I really just opened it up to our students and asked them, I said, this is the time to reflect. What did you take from this? And I think just about every one of them spoke to how the common statement was, I was not aware, or I didn't know that happened, or I wish we had looked at that perspective in class when we discussed that topic. So it was really powerful for me just to see how you began to think about things a bit differently, and pull in that perspective or the opinion. And I love that the program was very fact-based and centered on those historical documents and how they connected to history. And so that really gave that connection to the event, which is not something you always have the opportunity to see or to hear. And so that was extremely powerful for them to say, I haven't thought about it that way. And that sent a huge message for me.
Because again, the more we learn, the more we understand, the more we hear the voices from multiple perspectives, the fuller the picture we're looking at when we look back at history and how did we get to where we are today. And so, Mr. Dillman, again, thank you for connecting those dots and doing all I know that you had to do to try to make this opportunity available for your students.
Sure.
And Jacob, I hope you will convey to your fellow classmates who participate in Minority Essence that I really respect and admire their interest in unpacking things, learning more, and trying to understand. Because without that kind of understanding and attempts at relationship building, we are going to be doomed to repeat history, and that's not something our country can afford to do at all.
Yeah, that's right.
So thank you both so much for being here today. Another good reason to follow our principals and our schools on Twitter, because here we have Brunswick High School participating in a national event that has relevance for our country, but definitely for our community. So thank you again. It was a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you.
Hope you will join us again next time on Tweet of the Week.